Heba,
Maha,
it's so nice to see you.
I know, I always love seeing you.
I'm so happy to be in my garden. In the US, they call them the backyard.
I know, here they call it the hosh.
Before we kick off, I would love to tell everybody, how do we know each other, and introduce yourself.
Okay, so Heba Shunbo, and we met 20 years ago in 2001 when you hired me for a job in PR, remember? What was it? Fortune Promo 7, Weber Shandwick.
Yeah, you were working on my team. And did you know anything about PR?
Absolutely nothing. I still don't know anything about PR, but I remember being so impressed by you. You were like one of the first women I worked with in Egypt that was so switched on, knew exactly what she wanted, knew exactly what she was doing. I was really impressed. I
actually had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to run a company, but I knew how to do PR and I knew how to like do comms. And so I just hoped that would carry me.
Yeah.
So we met, and tell everyone, what do you do?
Well, so now I wear so many different hats. Okay, so first of all, I am a freelance interior designer. I'm a major yoga enthusiast, as you know, but I keep on going in and out of yoga practice for the past few years now. But anyways, that's another thing. I am the founder of the Four Fat Ladies Bakery with my sister Nira. And now I do this podcast. I'm a writer. I wrote a book. So yeah, lots of things. And I'm a mother to my twins. They're turning 4 in January. And I have a husband. So lots of work, lots of things to do.
How did you guys decide to create a bakery? What's the story?
Well, we've always liked to bake. I mean, since we were really, really young, my mother, you know, we lived in the States for a little bit. So my mother, our life revolves around the dinners, the cakes, the baking in the kitchen together. So that was always something on our to-do list. You know, Nira's my sister. She used to, even from school, she used to bake cakes and sell them in school, like to people, they would order from her. Anyway, so that was always something we wanted to do. But so we finally decided to do it in 2011, and then 2012 we launched it. We founded it, and it's basically an American bakery concept, but it's Nira's passion project. She loves it, and she's been involved with it ever since. And I got on board a few years ago, and I help her out. So we work together. I'm on the operations, the marketing side, and she does basically the products, the innovation, the baking, all of that.
Who are the Four Fat Ladies, and how did you come up with this concept of fat ladies?
Well, we brainstormed for like days on names, and you know, we came up with so many different names. This was the one name that stuck out and that we thought could be really fun with branding, merchandising, all of that. Okay, we fell short in that department, but we really wanted to bring the characters to life. And basically, because we're 3 sisters, and my mother taught us how to bake, so she has honorary titles. She has nothing to do with the bakery, and people always assume that she's involved, but she's not.
She's not.
My older sister as well is a little bit of a silent partner because she doesn't live here. She hasn't lived here since college. So it's basically Nira and I, and we came up with that name, and we thought it'd be catchy. It is catchy, and sometimes to the detriment of the brand, because some people don't like the name in Egypt. They find it offensive.
Really?
We never thought that would be the case, but anyways. When people tell us, like, you know, why did you call the Four Fat Ladies? It's such a negative name, and we said no. It's meant to be lighthearted. It's meant to be funny. It's meant to be fun.
Yeah.
You know, it was never meant to offend anybody.
Can we show everyone the book?
There's my book. I'm changing actually the cover.
Why?
Because this apparently gives people the impression it's all about kids and what to do with your kids, and it's more of an adult book. It's about me as a woman, how I handled it, and it's called Mommy's Happy Hour.
And what's it about?
I wrote it because when I had the kids at 41, I thought that I had such a different expectation of motherhood. I thought that my life would be, that's it. That was like my happily ever after
moment
ending to my life. That's it. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life. And it was actually the complete opposite. I was stumped. I was like, this is so tough. I had postpartum depression for a very long time. It lasted such a long time. And I just realized it was not what I expected. I thought that I would have this, this intuitive, this innate love for my kids. I would know what to do, exactly when to do it, what and when. I had no idea what I was doing. And I think at one point it made me realize that before I had kids, I realized that, when you have these moments of anxiety, you have your fears, you have your depression, you have all all those issues that you have to deal with. I would be able to go out and have a drink with friends. I'd be able to go out for dinner.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll go travel for a while. I'll go for a week
I'll
somewhere.
take a break. I'll get a hiatus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was the first time that made me realize, I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck in this house. So those feelings that you have when you have that fear or anxiety or anything, I had to deal with them. That was the first time I realized, I was like, oh shit. I thought I dealt with them. I went to therapy, I read books. I'm like thinking, I've got this, I'm good. And then I was like, oh my God, this is worse than I ever imagined. It was really a dark moment for me. So it made me realize, I said, I can just sit here with my kids, with 2 kids screaming and crying and not having any idea what to do and just like wallow in my misery, or I can see the humor in it and write a funny book. And so I wrote this book, and it was funny because I had to, for me, my solution to anything is humor. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna write this funny book.
It is funny.
My husband's snoring next to me and I want to just strangle him. And so I said, and it was it relieved my depression a little bit. It was like a cathartic journey for me.
So wait, how did you have time to write a book when you have twins and like you're dealing with that whole process?
Oh, I'm sitting at home all the time. You know what I mean? I had more time at home than I ever did before. I had to like be with the kids all the time.
So in between diaper changes, you were on your computer just?
At night, I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep at night. So I'd be at night just like sitting there and it's quiet, there's nothing. So I just took that time to like just write. And
what did it feel like when you got your book published and you saw it and you had a signing event? I saw all of it.
Yeah, exciting. Of course, it's funny because it was very exciting. I was like really excited about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I think I shared a little too much. Do I really want everybody to know about it? But actually, no, it feels good. I didn't realize that I would be able to write a book.
And you did, and it's so good, and it's
so
funny, and it adds so much. I think it's value. Like one of the things I love about what you're doing now, which we're going to talk about, is how you're opening conversations and topics with people and just like being vulnerable. How was that? How did you decide like, I'm going to do that and I don't really care what people think and I'm just going to go out there?
Well, it was tough for me because, after I wrote the book, I read, first of all, the book is a large part of like my fears and anxiety. So I put it all out there. Okay. After that, I said, it'd be nice to share more of that because I had more to say. Like after that first year, there's more. And I realized when I was more vulnerable, I realized that people were opening up a little bit more and people were being more honest about things. And so I really, I feel like a part of me kind of still gets anxiety when I share certain things because I'm not used to it. I'm usually kind of introverted. So, but having my kids made me realize that you can't take back time and that I really have to face my fears. So actually that's one thing that my kids, like having kids really taught me. So now when I have fear and I'm like, I don't want to do this, I do it.
And how does your husband and your family feel about how much you're sharing?
My husband is not really on social media, so he doesn't really know what's going on. But he doesn't mind. He thinks it's fun. He is involved. As you know, he co-hosts some of my episodes. He likes it. He thinks it's fun, and he doesn't know. He doesn't see it, so he probably doesn't really think about it too much.
After the book, you started a podcast, and you interview all kinds of people.
Yeah,
you have some very interesting guests.
Thanks.
Tell us about how do you get people to open up?
Well, I approached people and a lot of people are like, yeah, sure, I'd like to be on the podcast. I usually tread lightly. I don't like to push too hard. But like, for example, with Farah and Yahya, they're a couple that basically don't want to have kids. They've been married for 5 years and they know without a doubt that they don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
They're happy. And for me, that's such a different take on life than me, because for me, it was like kids for sure. Without kids, my life would be empty.
Yeah.
And so I was so interested to hear their side. And I guess I share on my podcast, I share a lot of my feelings and my issues and my anxieties. So I think that makes other people feel more comfortable and
sharing
so
it.
They open up.
Yeah, I think the other thing too, in the Middle East in particular, like they expect you to have kids. Like,
yes, sure.
The societal pressures of doing something that's against what everyone else expects.
Yeah.
Especially in this region is really, really a big deal.
For sure. I mean, I felt the pressure when I was trying to have kids. And when I see other women not having kids, now that I have kids, I can totally understand it. But at the same time, I still think, is it something, do they really, really want to not have kids? Or is it a fear they have? Or is it, you know what I mean? Because for me, it never occurred to me not to have kids. So I'm always curious about those people that don't have kids. Are they really happy to not have kids? Do they think that they will regret it eventually? But I noticed a lot of people are very content not having kids and their life is fulfilled, and there's a lot more to life than just kids.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
And lately I've been noticing you're posting more videos of yourself on your page.
It's very challenging for me. Every single time I post something, every single time I decide to do something, I'm always like, I always second guess myself.
You
I do it. I don't overthink it. This is the thing. I think at the beginning of anything I do, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I'm always like, I'm one of the slow learners. You know, it takes me a very long time to figure out what it is, to find my voice. Like with the book, for example. The book, it took me 3-4 months of rewriting the first chapter. Literally, the first 2 chapters. And I kept on, when I would read it, I'd be like, oh my God, this is awful. So I was like, no, that's not me. So I'd go back and rewrite it. So the same thing with social media. My videos, like I'll do them and I'm like, oh my God, I sound awful. And then I redo it. But I don't give it as much thought as I did with my book, obviously, because the posts and the reels, I'm still not there. I'm still a little bit, I'm taking like baby steps. I don't want to
I love it.
Put it all out there yet, because I have so much more to say, but I just haven't found my voice yet exactly about how I want to write something. Or, you know, sometimes I just want it to be something funny and lighthearted. Yeah. And I like that. You know, I find that a little bit better, but I'm trying to, it's tough because I think you can't be all vulnerable, you can't be all funny, you can't be all serious. Sometimes I'm in the mood, sometimes I'm absolutely not in the mood, and sometimes I'll go for like weeks, I'm like, I don't want to post anything. And you know, and it really takes a lot for me to post, but because I know I have something to say, and I know I want this to have longevity, because I do want to talk about women's issues, and I do want to talk about things that affect women and how we try to balance it all. And you know, like even looking at social media, a lot of these people have these accounts that look so perfect, but they just sometimes make me absolutely depressed. They have the perfect husband, the perfect apartment, the perfect kids, the perfect life, and I'm thinking, I push myself. I'm maybe a little bit, I'm very critical of myself. And so I always try to push myself harder. It's a good thing because I keep on pushing myself harder. But then sometimes it's kind of exhausting because you feel like you need to do all these things.
How do you actually do it? You just wake up and I'm going to post this today? Or do you plan okay, these are some of the things you plan?
I plan it, and because if I don't plan it, I would...
It won't get done.
Not only that, because I'm not that good at social media, so I need to plan it.
You're very good at social media. I watch your posts, and I'm like, okay. And she did a cliffhanger, and then she said to be continued, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta see what she's gonna do next.
But you know,
I love it. Every time I'm like, first of all, I don't do that. I don't even I'm a communications person, so I should do that. But I'm like, I reluctantly put videos out there because it's always like, oh, how I look, what do I say, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes the Camilla who edits my videos, she'll send me this and I'm like, oh, that's horrible. And then she's like, we're posting. I'm like, okay. You know, you just gotta don't, it's one post. It's not the end of your life. Just do it. I'm like, that's terrible.
I'm like you. I need that person to tell me, no, it's good. It's good. Post it. I have my husband's the person. I'm like, Hazem, is this kind of cheesy? Can you look at the post? And then somebody's like, yeah, it's a little cheesy. Take that off. I was like, okay, so let me rewrite it. And then, or he's like, no, it's great. I'm like, I don't like it. It's making me cringe. No, he's like, it's great. It's honest. It's you. post it. So I need that validation because I'm at that stage
so
where I'm
good.
not.
I love what you're doing. I want you to keep doing it.
Thank
keep
you.
posting, keep sharing. Love the podcast.
Thank you.
Jealous that you have a book and I don't. When you emailed me the PDF of the transcript, I'm like, she did it. I was so proud of you.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do a fun thing now. We're going to do kind of rapid fire questions. And you just have to say the first thing that comes to your mind and don't overthink it.
Nope.
Okay, rapid fire questions.
Sure, go.
Here we go. First one. What is an NFT?
Non-fungible tangible.
Non-fungible tangible. Take two. What's an NFT?
I don't know. Non-fun tangible? No, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay, do you know?
But I've been
what,
hearing about it, and I know it in French.
Oh, you know what NFT is in French?
Because I just looked it up the other day. But I don't know what it is.
Qu'est-ce que c'est en français?
Un jeton non fungible.
Oh, wow.
Je pense. I think.
Oh, really? Okay, that was the first time I've heard someone say NFT in French. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Good one. Best advice you got?
That it? That's the question? Okay.
I'm going to give you another one.
Best advice I got is it's never the right time.
Worst advice you got?
Twins are the best thing in the world.
What's your favorite book?
Oh my God, I've got so many. An old one is The Alchemist. This one I read recently is really good. The $1 Billion Whale, brilliant.
What's that about?
It's about this guy. It's a real story about this guy who did the biggest like heist in history with the Malaysian wealth fund.
Oh, yum! I
gotta
gotta
read
get
it.
into
It's
that
really
one.
good.
Okay, best compliment you ever got?
Just now, probably from you, that I'm so good at it all.
Amazing. Okay, what's the one thing you do to get your kids to go to bed that you probably don't want to be doing anymore, but you just have to because sometimes you just got to get the job done?
Oh, I just promise anything they want the next day. They'll always be, Mommy, can we have this tomorrow? Yes, of course, sweetie. Good night.
What would you eat as your last meal?
Probably steak and baked potato with sour cream.
Oh, that sounds
cheese.
so good. Like, what was that double baked? What's a double baked baked potato? Is
Oh,
that
I've never heard of those. I've never had those.
It's like a baked potato, and then they bake it, and then they take out the insides
Oh.
and whip it, and then
Oh,
put cheese
so it's like a mashed potato
and put it
inside-
back in. It's called a double baked potato.
Oh, no way. That sounds good.
Americans know how to do
Oh,
big
yeah,
food
yeah.
big.
Oh,
Okay, what's one thing we don't know about you?
Oh my God, there's lots of stuff.
Just give me one
That
that you've never shared. Exclusive.
I've never shared. My husband's younger than me.
Really? That's interesting.
4 years younger than me. Not many people know that.
Okay, well now they do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heba.
Thank you.
So good to see
It
you.
was I had such a nice time.
Me too.
Yeah.